right, welcome back. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the show Jane Krakowski. She has garnered terrific reviews for her performance in Grand Hotel, Tommy Tune's new musical at the Martin Beck Theater. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. This is your second Broadway show.
Yes, it is. I started out in Starlight Express on Broadway, which was the roller skating extravaganza.
It certainly was.
I was not a roller skater before we started that event, but I do continue it now because it is extreme fun. Yeah.
Besides being great exercise.
It was incredible. It was a wonderful transformation that I had gone through as becoming physically aware with yourself. And well, we roller skated 8 to 12 hours a day.
In preparation to do the show?
Just getting the show together. And teaching everyone how to roller skate because there were only about 8 folks who could roller skate.
What, did the rest of you bluff your way through auditions? Oh, we're great roller skaters, we can do that.
Exactly. If you could go forwards and backwards and you were brave enough to bring your foot up, and they'd say freestyle, and some of the kids would be whacking their legs up and doing spins, and I just like put a little bounce into it. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I think if they saw you had the moxie to want to fall down, you were fine.
Yeah, well, I guess if you can fall down and not hurt yourself, that's half the battle, because a lot of people fell down at various points in that show.
A lot of falling down was on purpose. So you have to learn how to fall. But
that was your Broadway debut, and yet you had been in the business for, God, since you were about 8 years old, right?
Yeah, for a long, long time. It doesn't seem that long because now it's the first time that I'm really starting to come into myself and know what I'm doing and making my own choices. Acting gets much harder as you get older because you know a lot more, and you want to make. I like to make the right choice, and or the most interesting choice, and the more options you have, the more colorful a role can obviously be, but it also becomes more of a challenge.
Well, the character that you play in Grand Hotel is coyly named Flemchen.
And she's wonderful.
That is the name that she has given herself. There's almost an element of Sally Bowles from Cabaret in this character.
There's something, when I had first gone in to read for Tommy Tune, for Flemchen, that I absolutely understood where she was coming from. I knew her heart and her truth before I knew any of her physicalities or the way she looked. And I think by having that understood knowledge of her, it made it easy to go through all the changes that we went through putting together a Broadway musical. And I think Tommy might have seen that from day one. And then all the physical stuff kind of came in later.
Well, I mean, you have an incredible period look in this show. I mean, you look like you've just been taken off a page of Vogue from the era.
Yeah, thanks to Tommy and a lot of research. I did a lot of research watching silent films because my character wants to be in the talkies. Yeah. And by watching those women, these women were incredible. Not only were they so highly sexual, but they had a way of saying so much with not a spoken word. And they were quite advanced for what I was expecting, because I was not familiar with those movies before this. But watching those women, I had made a lot of decisions that I wanted to be like them, and since my character had emulated them, and I wanted my character to move on the pace that silent film would move, so she'd always be a step quicker than everyone else, and I think it also gave that flaming youth essence to the character.
Now, Tommy Tune went back to the novel when the show was in workshop as the primary source material, rather than the MGM film, which wasn't anything to sneeze at. I mean, it did win the Oscar that year.
He says that he had a guiding force from the novel. It was such an unusual thing to work on, because when I had gotten the role, there was no script. I got the job, and Tommy handed me a 600-page novel and said, "This is our Bible. This is what we're using." And workshop was an incredibly creative time because we got to spend a lot of time on just working out the scenes between the actors and putting the book to life. So I think he hired people that way. If you had the truth of the character, then the truth could be presented on stage and found.
But the truth of the character changed a lot during workshop and even during the previews on Broadway.
Absolutely. I had really never worked on anything.
How many different versions of your character were there? I mean, what were some of the different choices that they came up with for her at various points?
Well, between workshop and here, I've had 5 different songs in the same slot. I was explaining this to someone else just earlier, that it's very strange because I've had the same song, but we would first do it to a samba and then we do it to a waltz, keeping the same exact lyrics and the same song. But I just changed the dance steps. I just changed the beat. Like I'd start out really fast and then it would turn into a waltz, so the same step would be used over again, just to see how it would work and fit into the play. There were many changes, and I think the show resulted in the best form because of it. I really didn't expect that, but I guess by being there, it added an extra excitement, changing it, you know, going out there and not knowing what line you're going to say really. It added a lot of excitement to doing it. I had a wonderful time in Boston. Boston was very kind to me, and I'd never been in the city, and it was wonderful. I'd never gone out of town with a show either.
Now, the show is finally, you know, it's opened, it's running.
We're there.
And this is a very gifted ensemble of actors. I gather now you can really settle in and start to just find the little nuances of the character.
Yeah, the show has taken on a different tone since we've now opened. And it's a wonderful tone because everyone knows who they are and knows what they're going to do, and they just sit back, and it's truly an ensemble piece. Every actor, they're all just so good that you want to be as good as they are every night, and nobody is faking it.
So you challenge each other.
Almost. I think it's not really challenging, it's just you don't want to let the other guy down. So we all really pitch in our part.
Well, it's a brilliantly staged piece of musical theater.
It's so just visionary. You have to see it.
Well, Tommy Tune is extraordinarily gifted, and I want to thank you. You are too, for joining us. Jane Krakowski, Grand Hotel at the Martin Beck Theater.